reminder. Okay, guys, take a look at picture 26. You had this all you had yesterday. We said if that post is 4 tfachim, then you can have a pirza up to 10. If the post is 4 tfachim, you can have a pirza up to 10. Correct? And now we're looking at page 6, picture 38. Picture 38. So here we have, notice the breach is in the beginning, in the front wall. You have a kaira that is allowing to the left, is allowing it. And now you have that breach of 4 tfachim. So this is not good. So the Gemara wants to know, what's the chilek between the side where you say it's 10 amis and here you say it's 4? What's the difference? On the side, we said it's the breach is as long as it's 10 amis, you're okay. It's considered a Pesach. Beyond 10 amis, it's a pirza, a breach. Over here, you're going to go ahead and say that this is a breach, even though it's only 4 tfachim. What's the difference between the two? So let's get to see the Gemara inside. We're going to begin on Hey Amid Beis at the bottom. Amar Rav Chanan Barava, Amar Rav, Mavi Shenifritz Mitzidai, a Mavi that is on the side, has a hole in it. That was picture 26. Be'eser, the shear is Esa Amos. Me'roishai, conversely, on the head, if the breach is in the head, then Bedalit, Dalit Tfachim. Fred the Gemara, the obvious question, Maishna Mitzidai Be'eser, the Amar Pischa. What's the difference Be'eser where we say it's a Pesachu? Me'roishai Nami name a Pischahu. Me'roishai Nami say it's a Pesach. Guys, the answer is obvious. Take a look at picture 38. You have an option to get into that Mavi. Where are you going to go? Are you going through the main entrance, right? Or are you going through the cracked wall? So obviously, right, you're going to go through the main entrance. Memela, since you have an option right there, that's the Pesach. Memela, the 4 tfachim is a pirza. Conversely, when you have a breach of 10 amas, such a big area, certainly it's a Pesach you're able to get in. That will be the chilik between the two. What?
Yeah, but if the breach is available to you as a Pesach, I would use the breach, the 10 amas.
That's because you're a rebellious person. That's because you're again, you have one normal thing with, again, you have a normal door. Right next to the door, Hesh, is a broken door. You ain't going through the broken door, you're going through the main entrance. But if you have on the side a whole big thing, then you're not going to walk around to go to the main entrance if you have a big thing on the side. You'll take the shortcut through the side. In the front, what are you gaining? What are you getting, Harold?
Again, it's more comfortable.
You're gaining nothing. It's right next to each other. What are you gaining?
Right. So, okay. All right.
Okay. Anyway, it's a very geschmack. So that would be the difference between the two. The side with the option to go through the main entrance or a 4 tfachim, you go into the main entrance, that leaves the 4 tfachim as a pirza. Conversely, 10 amos is a Pesach. Guys, you all good? You got what I told Hashi? Okay, now, great. Now, there's going to be a Madiyom who disagrees, of course. It's Gemara, right? Someone has to always argue. They're Jewish. So, says the Gemara, Amar Afuna, Brady Yeshua, Kigoin Shin, so my, don't Russian name in Piscahu, Amar Afuna, Brady Yeshua, Kigoin Shin Nifratz B'Karen Zavia. Say nothing, Ami. It's speaking what? Where the pirza is in the corner, picture 40, picture 39. Even though you could walk in that way, since it's a side, it's not normal. So the Gemara says back in the Gemara, and the Pischa B'Karen obviously of an inch. A person doesn't make a Pesach by what? By the corner. So in fact, if it was not in the corner, it would be like Hesh said, you can go walk right through. Conversely, over here where it's in the corner, right, then you won't use it as a Pesach. Mamela, it would pass the Mavui. So again, just to reiterate, what are we discussing, guys? We're discussing a Mavui that's existing. We're not discussing Kairos now. We're not discussing Lechis. We're discussing holes in the Mavui that would render it not kosher. So we saw the Shita that if you have a pas of 4, if you have as long as you have a pole of 4 tfachim, an existing Mavui, then we said everyone would agree. Abayu said 4 amas, it's only to create the Mavui, but an existing Mavui to maintain it, you only need 4 tfachim. If you have a breach in that wall on that side, it's up to 10 amas. Anything below 10 amas, it will be a good, valid Mavui. Conversely, anything more, you can see a breach Mavui, and you won't be able to carry in it. Now we're
What's a
saying
size?
halacha. What about if the breach is in the front of the mavoi? If the breach is in the front of the mavoi, then if it's in the corner, which people won't use, even though it's only 4 tefachim wide, since people don't use it, it's not considered a pesach. It's considered a breach, and therefore the mavoi is not valid. That's what we've been discussing so far. Yeah.
What's the size of this corner breach?
4 tefachim.
2 and 2?
4 tefachim.
It's a corner. So was it
4
2 on
tefachim.
one?
Whatever you measure diagonally across from one edge to the other. It's 4 tefachim.
A diagonal, okay.
Yeah, it's 4 tefachim. Okay, so now, Rav Huna Amar, fellas, echad zeh v'echad zeh. Fellas, if at any point you get lost, please stop me, because it can be a lot of pictures and a lot of words, but you won't know directionally where we're going. So I'm trying, we took care of the mavoi up and down. Now we're dealing with holes. Good. So right now we have a direction. We have holes. How big does the hole have to be? And I'm this 4. We're making a chilik between side and front. Says Rav Huna, there is no chilik between side and front. Even side will be 4 tefachim, and then we're going to have to reconcile Rabbi Huna with what? With the picture of Rabbi Ravasi of 10 amos. Rav Huna Amar echad zeh, whether it's on the side. The echad zeh, whether it's in the front. Be'arba, it will be, the share will be arba tefachim. V'chein Amar Rav Huna Rav Chanan bar Rava leitifla galoid. Do not argue on Rav. The Rav ikla the Mecharia. Rav came to a place called Mecharia. The Ovid of the Kavasi. And he did like me, which is 4 tefachim. So let's get them on the arm straight. The first person who says 10 amos is Rav Chana bar Rava, and the arguer who says 4 tefachim is Rav Huna. Says Rav Huna, Rav himself. You said you didn't name of Rav Chana bar Rava. You said you didn't name of Rav. Rav himself said 4 tefachim because he came to a place. He saw that the people were carrying in a mavoi, and he said you can't carry there because it's 4 tefachim wide. And on that, Amalei says Rav Chanan bar Rava to Rav Huna, he retorts, 1 second, no, Rav really held 10 amos. Why was he machmer in this locale to keep the distance at 4 tefachim? Because Rav bika matzav v'gada b'geda. Rav found a problem and he stuffed it up. In other words, Rav held a certain way, but he saw people being lax, so he went in the other direction. Fellas, we had in Masechta Shabbos. Right, we have with Nehemiah Bar Chiloi, he came and they found him carrying on Shabbos. So what did he institute? He instituted muktzah, right across the board. You can't carry anything. And then as people became more bakant, and then he eased back in different kalim. We had machloikas, what the kalim were, by a rav, so private, so kumay, klish machlisa, klish lach leheta, whatever it's in the last 30 baht, so you'll chaz yourself. So the point being is that the chacham at certain times made takanos. So Rav, he found a place, he really holds like me, like Rav Chana bar Rava, 10 amos. Why was he machmed at 4 tefachim? Because this place in particular was mekel, and therefore he had to go to the other extreme to go ahead and be machmir. So bika matzav together. So right now we're holding the machloikis between Rav Chana bar Rava 10 amos and Rav Huna 4 tefachim. Okay, I'd like to give you the Gemara beforehand. Take a look at picture 41. Take a look at picture 41. Let's see what I got. Share screen. Okay, we're up and running, right? Guys, we see? You see picture 41?
Very good, very good.
Very clear. Okay, look at the screen and look at your books. You have an L-shaped mavoi. It opens to Rishus Rabbim on both sides, right? There's 2 ways to view this mavoi. I can view it, let's say I'm walking. Guys, look at the board and look at the pointer. I'm walking from here to here. I could say this is a closed mavoi. Look, I have one wall here, and one back wall. So therefore, if I put a lechi over here or a koira over here, everything would be good. Problem, I can make a turn here and go out. So maybe I view this as what's known as a mavoi mefulish. Guys, look at me. We've been discussing a mavoi sasam, 3 walls, 2 sides and a back. The ticket for that to allow you to carry that you shouldn't mix it up with Rishus Harabim is a koira or a lechi. What happens if it goes directly through? It's an alleyway open on both ends. That's called a mavli mefulish. There, you don't have the option of just putting a koira and a lechi. You would have to put at the other end a tsuris hapesach. You'd have to put two side posts and a cross, which works as a mechitza. So it's more chamer, a mavli mefulish. An open mavli is more machmir than a mavli sasam. Mavli sasam lechi v'koira. Mavli mefulish, you need two ends. And one of the ends has to be a tsuras HaPesach. So let's get back to the picture, and I'll show you the machlokas between Rav and Shmuel. Okay, let's get back to the picture. According to Rav, this is a mavli mefulish. It's an open mavli. So you know what you got to do, guys? Look at this. Here's what you have to do. When you get to over here, you're going to put in the beginning of the alleyway, next to the Rishus Harabim, you're going to put a lechi or a koira. And over here, by the angle where it interconnects, you're going to have to put the Tzuras HaPesach. Right over here, where I'm putting the pointer, you're going to have to put the Tzuras HaPesach, because it's a Mavli Mefulish. So it has a Tzuras HaPesach at one end, and it has a lechi v'koira at the other end. According to Rav, according to Shmuel, it's a Mavli Sasam. We view it, if you come from here to there, it's closed. If you come from here to there, it's closed. And all you have to put is a lechi koira here, a lechi koira here. According to Rashi, a second shot, you need an additional koira here. I don't know why. You need a koira here, but you would not need it Tzuras HaPesach. You would not need it Tzuras HaPesach. Guys, good so far? Guys, good so far?
But according to Shmuel, is that a pirza?
No. Oh, okay, so now, Aryeh is raising a great point. Once you have this down, we want to bring a raya to Rav Huna that Rav holds 4 tfachim and not 10 amis. Well, here, listen what Aryeh just said. According to Shmuel, is that a pirza? Obviously, it can't be a pirza, Aryeh, because if it's a pirza, then it's not a mavi sasam, right?
It has to be less than 4 tvachim.
It has to be less than 10 amis. It has to be less than 10 amis. In other words, fellas, I'm going to show again. I'm going to the chart again. Raya is bringing up the main point of the share. Over here, this intersection has to be less than 10. If it's a breach of more than 10, there's no way Shmuel can hold this is a Mavli Sasum, because you have a breach, you have a hole in the Mavli. So it must be this interconnecting part over here is less than 10. Good? Now, if Shmuel holds it's less than 10, right? So Rav also holds it less than 10. And what does Rav say? It's considered mefulish. Rav still says it's considered open, fellas, even though it's less than 10 amis. So what do you see? Rav must hold 4 tfachim. It's 2 steps. Guys, look, it's 2 steps. I'm figuring out from Shmuel what that area is, and then I'm going to figure out what Rav holds. So let's go to step number 1. Step number one, look at me. Step number 1, that intersecting area said Shmuel is considered sasum. That's what Shmuel says. Memela, it must be less than 10 amis, because if it was 10 amis or more, it would be a pirza, right? Right? Good. So now I figured out from Shmuel it's less than 10. What does Rav say? Even though it's less than 10, it's considered mefulish. It's considered open. If Rav held 10 amis, is considered closed, it shouldn't be open. Hell, you see, Rav holds 4 tfachim. That's Rav Huna's raya that Rav holds 4 tfachim. Let's see it inside. I don't know if you didn't get it. I don't know if it's going to get any better inside, but we'll say it anyway. Okay, says the Gemara. So, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Kavasei de Rav Huna mistabra. It makes sense to say like Rav Huna that Rav holds 4 tfachim. It makes sense, according to Rav Huna, that Rav holds 4 tfachim. That makes sense. Right. The Itmar, Mavli Akum, a Mavli that is crooked. Rav Amar, Tayrasa Kimafulish. Rav says we'll treat it like a Mavli Mefulish. You would need a Tzuras HaPesach by the intersection and a Lechi V'Koira by the end. Ushmuel Amar, Tayrasa Kisasum. We'll view it as closed, and you'll only need a Lechi V'Koira by the end or a Lechi in the middle, according to Rashi. B'mayaskina, what are we dealing with over here? What is the expanse of that intersection? Ilema biyosami esa. If you're going to say that expanse is more than 10, the whole lema shmul terasa kesasam. Would Shmuel in fact say that you can view it as susam? You got a breach, guys. You got a breach of 10 amas and more. There's no way you consider it closed. Ella must be lav be'eser. It must be at least 10 amas. 10 amas, and therefore he views it as closed. Rav says it's still open, despite the fact it's 10 amas. Because Rav, foolish. Rav says it's open despite the fact it's 10 amas. Why? Alma pirtzay novi mitzidai b'dalid. Rav must hold the opening of a pirza is what? 4 tefachim. So you've proven Rav from Shmuel. How was that? Sort of?
Good.
A lot of words?
It was good.
Okay, one guy has it good. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Guys, look at me one more time. Here's our mission. Our mission is to figure out where Rav Huna says, Rav says not 10 amis, where he says 4 tefachim. He's going to ascertain it from Mavai Okum. The Mavai Okum, we have Machlokes Rav and Shmuel. What exactly is that Mavai? Shmuel says it's closed, Rav says it's open. Now, Shmuel says it's closed because he's going to view the intersection as closed. How, therefore, what's the expanse of that intersection, where it intersects? It must be 10 amas or less. Because if it was 10 amas or more, Shmuel could not hold it as being closed because it would be considered a pirza. So it must be 10 amas or less. And Rav still views it open. Now, if Rav holds the pirza is 10 amas, he should view it as closed. Elavad, Rav holds the pirza is 4 tefachim. Therefore, that's the minimal amount. Beyond 4 tefachim already is a pirza. Therefore, yeah, Rav Arayit, Rav Huna, and a kasha on Rav Chanan bar Rava. And you have a kasha on Rav Chanan bar Rava. Okay, back in the Gemara. Shani Hassam says Rav Chanan bar Rava, it's different over there. Because the Rabbim are walking through it. In other words, really, a 10 amas should be considered a Pesach. But if people are going to walk through it, that makes it into a pirza. So you can't bring in a riot that Rav holds that you don't need 10 amas. Usually, if it's a pirza that people don't use, then it's a Pesach. Then it's considered closed. However, over here, since people are walking through it, you can't consider it closed because people are using it. So it's considered a pirza. Michlal, we can infer, the Rav Huna Savar, Rav Huna says 4 tefachim, Afagab the Leibakal of a Rabbim, that even if a Rabbim are not Bekeya, it's considered a pirza. Maishna mid Rav Amir Avasi, then why is Rav different, guys? Why is Rav different than this? Why is Rav different than this picture? Picture number 26. Why is it different than picture 26? Okay, says the Gemara, I'll tell you the difference. Hassam the Ikka Gedude. Over there, there's Gedudim. There are Gedudim projecting out that'll stop people from going through. Since people won't go through it, it's considered what? It's considered closed. Hacha over here by Rav, there's nothing to stop the people from going through. Take a look at picture 53. Picture 53. Yeah, guys, it's on the screen now if you want to see. You see at the bottom? No one's going to go ahead and use that because it's very hard to go. Since it's very hard to go, we're going to consider it closed. We're going to consider it closed. And Mashenkin, by Rav's case, it's totally open. Okay, let's just summarize quickly. We have machlokes between Rav Huna and Rav, whether it's 10 amas according to Rav Chanan bar Rava, and according to Rav, it's considered what? Rav Huna says that it's 4 tefachim. We brought a raya from Okum, and we had a dialogue about Okum. That's the basic halacha. Okay, it says in the next case, Tanabanan. Very nice Gemara, not a difficult Gemara at all. Let's take a look at some pictures. Let me see if I can bring this up. Should be able to bring it up. There you go. Picture 54, guys. you're looking at a Rishus Rabim. The Rishus Rabim, according to Rashi, has two qualities. One, we saw Masechta Shabbos, it's 16 amas wide. There's no walls. It's 16 amas wide, and there's 600,000 people going through it. That's what Rashi says. Now, let's say you want to make, how do you ma'arav Rishus Rabim? It says the Gemara, here's, you can do one of two things. Picture 55, you make it Tzuras HaPesach over here, and the Aleph, you put a lechi on the other side. And then people are going to be able to carry Rishus Rabim. Picture 56, Hananya disagrees. He says you can't use the Tzuras HaPesach. You're going to have to make walls on both sides. Picture 56, you're going to make walls on both sides. Rolling right along, Steve Geller, I got this right. No, it's going good. Now, the Gemara is going to ask, how in the world could you go ahead and be Ma'arav Rishus Rabim? We said you can't do it. We had this in Masechta Shabbos, and now this is the main source. Picture 58. Underneath that house that's on top, the Aleph, you see the Aleph, we can view it as an imaginary wall coming down. That'll be like Pi Tikra Yard V'Soisim. So you would be able, even though it's a Rishus Rabim going through, you'd be able to carry underneath that area back and forth because it goes down. Or picture 59 would say the same thing by a bridge. Underneath the bridge, you should be able to carry within that expanse because we'll have hypothetical walls going down. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda said a bigger chiddush. Someone who has, picture 60, someone who has two houses on both sides of Rishus Rabim, on the right side and the left side, either put two lechis over there or two kairas over there, and you can carry between the two. That's what he said. So this is the machlokes between Chananya the Tanakama. Do you need a Tzuras HaPesach according to the Tanakama? And according to Chananya, you need walls. Rabbi Yehuda says it's chiddush that you can be ma'arav Rishus Rabim either using the halacha of Pi Tikra, the edge of a Tikra Yard V'Saisim, or you can go ahead and use if you own two houses, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to see the problem. Says the Gemara inside. Tanabanan, Ketzad ma'arvim derech Rishus Rabim. How can you go ahead and make an Eruv the derech of Rishus Rabim? How can you make an Eruv the derech of Rishus Rabim? Oisa Tzuras HaPesach mikan. You make a Tzuras HaPesach from one place. V'lechi v'koira mikan. And the lechi v'koira in another place. But not a door. Chananya oimen, no. Beishamai oimen. Chananya says in the name of Beishamai. Oisa delis mikan v'delis mikan. You make a door over here and a door over there. And when you go, I'll close the door behind you. They still one door, you don't need a door on both sides, just on one side. So the machlokes between the Tanakama, Tanakama does not require a door, and Chananya requires a door, even at least according to Beis Hillel. Frag the Gemara, Rishus Rabim ma'arva, can you ever make an Eruv? In Rishus Rabim, can you ever make an Eruv? Tanya, Yesser al Kain Amar of Yehuda. Guys, look at me. Yesser al Kain, meaning not only by the bridge, not only by the overhang, but even by the two houses. Yesser al Kain Amar of Yehuda Amar Beis. Misha Hayilish State Bottom. Mishneit Sidei Rishus Rabim. If you have two houses on two sides of the Rishus Rabim, and you can carry between them. So this is, guys, this is even a bigger chiddush, right? Because you're not using the lacha of Pi Tikra, which is a wall. You're using the lacha of Lechi V'Kari, which is Al Heka. So it's a big difference. So Amaloi, they said, Ema Arv Rishus Rabim Kach. You can't go ahead and be Ma'arv Rishus Rabim. Okay, so now, the kash is going to be, according to Chananya, we're going to see that doors. We're going to see that. It's going to be a kasha on making doors. Says the Gemara, Baita, that you can't make an Eruv this way, but with doors you could. If not for the fact that it's doors, we're closed at night, you'd be chayav Rishus Rabim. When the doors are closed, it's considered a karmelis. The gates of Mechuzah, also say in the Nolas Chayav Malayim Mishum Rishus Rabim. You be Chayav Rishus Rabim. Says Rashi, Chayav Malaha, Alma Neilas Delasais Binan. You need to close the door b'chol laila. V'hacha katani. Here we learn oisa delas mikan, v'lechi v'koyer mikan, lebeis Hillel. In other words, according to Chananya, you needed one door on one side and a lechi v'koyer on the other side. Over here, it's mashma. You would need doors on both sides, and they have to be closed. That's the kasha. Rabbi Yehuda hachi kamar. Okay, guys, we're changing gears. Go back to the Amud Aleph. Tana Rabbanan. Here's what it says. So our Havamina was we're discussing taking the thoroughfare that's called the Rosh Hashanah and making an Erev in it. Let's change the gears, guys. Ketzin ma'arvin muvois hamufushlashim l'Rosh Hashanah. How can you make an Erev around the mavoi that is mefulish, that's open to the Rosh Hashanah? You have a mavoi that's open for Rosh Hashanah. How do you go ahead and make an Erev around that? A mavoi that's open to Rosh Hashanah. How do you go ahead and make an Erev around that? The biggest problem in Brooklyn, about the Erev is our streets are considered a mavoi that's open to Ocean Parkway. This is the problem. But Moshe held that Ocean Parkway is Rosh Hashanah. Guys, listen, according to Rashi, you know what Rosh Hashanah is? What you need? A road that's 16 amas wide. Rosh Hashanah, Ocean Parkway certainly is. And you need on any given day 600,000 people in there. That's very hard to find. Rav Moshe held yes. And because of Rav Moshe, that's why there's no Erev in Brooklyn. Because our streets have a halacha of an Erev that's open to Rosh Hashanah. So now, what are we discussing? We just changed everything. We're not discussing making Erev in Rosh Hashanah. We're discussing making Erev in a mavoi that's open to a Rosh Hashanah. That's what's under discussion over here. Good? That's what's under discussion over here. And now let's see the machlokes according to the Tanakama and Chananya based upon the new definition that we're trying to define. Back in the Gemara. It says, so Rabbi Yehuda hachi kamar. How do you make an Erev in a mavoi that's open, a mavoi foolish into Rosh Hashanah? So what do you do? Says the Tanakama, on that mavoi, you make one place you put a tzuras pesach, and the other one you make a lechi v'koira, and the Chananya says no. Chananya says you have to put doors, and according to Beis Hillel, a door on one side. According to Beis Shammai, a door is on. So guys, comes out. According to Tanakama, you never need a door. According to Chananya, you would need a door. So who's the halacha like? Says the Gemara, Rav Amar Hilchasa Tanakama. Surah Pesach and a lechi will do the job, no doors. Ushmul Amar no. Halacha ki Chananya, that at least you need one has to be a door and the other one a lechi or a kaira. So Shmuel will require a door and Rav does not require a door. Any questions so far what we're doing? So again, the first part of daf was validating a mavoi with a hole in it. Second part of daf is figuring out how to go ahead and make be metaking a mavoi mefulish to a Rosh Hashanah. Says Rav, metaking that mavoi with a tzuras pesach 1 and a lechi v'kori in another area. And according to Shmuel, no, you need like Hananya, you would need on one side a deles, doors, and on the other side a lechi v'kori. Now, iboilahu. L'chananya aliva de Beis Hillel that you need a door.
What are those that argue against Rav Moshe?
Again, Rav Moshe's tshuva heshi. Rav Moshe's tshuvas are they're pages long. I'm just simply telling you the fact. Again, I do not the tshuvas are they're tremendously long tshuvas. I have to do the daf. I can't.
All right.
It's really beyond the scope of the shir for me to answer that tshuva. Again.
Okay.
For me to answer that tshuva.
Forget about it.
I have to stay with the daf. I just said to you, you should know that that's the problem. In other words, again, it's beyond the pay scale. It's not daf yomi rate.
Got it. All right.
Now, says the Gemara, Iboilu, L'chananya aliba de Beis Hillel. Again, Chananya holds Beis Hillel. How many doors, guys? One side, right? One side. Sarch linol or ain't sarch linol? That door, does it have to be closed or not? Does that door have to be closed or not? Toshma, the Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, ain't it sarch linol? It doesn't have to be closed. That door does not have to be closed. It could be Ami Omer Rav Masna. In fact, I had an incident happen to me. You don't have to close it. Boy, me name Rav Anan. Sarach linol ain't sarach linol. I like these gemaras. You have to keep it closed. You don't have to keep it closed. Amalahu tochazi. Go see. Hani avule de nardoi. These gates of nardoi. The timin. They are the al pulgayu ba'afra. Guys, take a look. Picture 65. 64. There's those doors, you can't close them, right? You got the schmutz going up to the doors, you see? So we want to bring a raya from there that you see you don't have to close the doors because you see that you have the schmutz blocking it, yeah? Guys, you see? Now, back in the Gemara. So these gates of Nardoi, the Timen al Palgayu, Ba'afara, Ba'ayel V'nafik Mar Shmuel, Shmuel went in and out. So you see you don't need to be closed. Rav Kahana, Hanach Migufis Habe. They were partially closed. 65. They were a little open, but in other words, Kenzain that's considered closed. So they weren't totally open. So you have no raya. Back in the Gemara, Kiyasar of Nachman, Amar, Penuya Lafrayu, go ahead and they cleaned away the offer. Lema Kasav Rav Nachman Tzarach Lino. Why would Rav Nachman say to clean it away? It must be he held that you have to close the door. And loy, even Divra'uya Lino, Afapisha Nilois, could be they have to be right to be closed, even though they're not closed. In other words, there's a difference with an inability to close the door, and there's a difference between a door not closed. Do you need to have the ability to close the door? Or do you know? You don't have the ability to close the door. So Ken Zayin of Nachman held the door, you don't have to close the door. But you have to be able to close the door. And therefore he said, clean away the schmutz. Not that you have to close it, but to be a door, you have to, we had the Gemara Menachos, right? 61, a klisharis only has 60. So 60, if you don't mix it, is good. 61 is no good. Frag the Gemara, but if you don't mix it by 60, 61, what's the difference? After the Gemara, you have to, not that you have to mix it, but you have to be able to mix it. And by 61, you can't even mix it. And that'll be a very good such delta over here. It's not shot that you have to close the door. You have to be able to close the door. So therefore, very geschmack. There was a mokum the Rami Allah Chumr the Rabbi. You know what? I think we're going to stop over here because the Gemara goes into Chumash. It's a very, very good place to stop. It flows into each other. So we'll see everyone tomorrow night at 8:30. Again, thank you everyone for coming.